Hey guys, I'm doing this video now. As you did see or hear in my last video, I was coughing and coughing. So I actually wanted to wait until all my coughing had subsided and I could do a clear tutorial. There's nothing worse than somebody trying to do a tutorial and they're coughing all the way through it. I know I find it annoying myself. But I did want to get the video out of this album, so I do apologise for all the coughing. Another thing I wanted to say is thank you so much to everybody that sent me well wishes and everything. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't put it out there for that reason. I put it out there just to let you know that in case I am MIA, that's the reason why. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate all your support out there as well. And to my new subbies, welcome to my channel, and I hope you get something from it. I do like to create kind of off the page things. I don't know where things come from in my head, but they do. I've had a few people commenting to me saying, you know, where do you get your ideas from, or I'd like to be in your head. Not a pretty place inside, to be quite honest. But anyway, enough chattering, let's get started. I'll show you the basics on this album, on how to make it and the pages. Now the other thing is as well, you don't need to make it this small, you can make it bigger. Okay, you just got to alter the dimensions of it. You can add more pockets in there, more flaps in it. I just wanted to show you. I've started on mine just, and I'll put up the tutorial of the folder, sorry, the cover, the pages, and then when I'm done with my album, I'll post that up again. But this is my one. I'm doing this one and I'm going to decorate it and everything, and this is using the Secret Garden collection, so that's the beginnings of it. In this one I used a punch, which I really love. This one, the pointed flower, absolutely love it. But in here you'll see that I've kind of just left it plain, so it's individual choice as to what you would like to do as well. Like I said, you've got plenty of room in here for photos and journaling, and that's what it's basically for. Alright guys, let's get started. Now I have pre-cut a few things just to keep the video short, because I know that I was going to be rambling on. Okay, for the insides of the page here, this one here, you're going to need two pieces which measure 3 1/4. Now if you want it to the full size, which is 6, I done it probably too shy away from 6, so or just shy away from 6, because I didn't want mine to be full pages. So I put 2 of those at 3 1/4. Then what you're going to do is I've measured my covers and I've cut them out once again for the video sake. I've cut these out at 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. Okay, I wanted to make my covers just a little bit bigger than the actual pages, and my spine is 2 inches by 6 1/4. The reason why I've done this one so big is because I'm using the bigger O-rings. Okay, now the thing is, you're not just restricted to O-rings, the binder rings. You can use O-rings, or you can use the little Tim Holtz binder ring thing. If I can just grab it out, or like I do, I just rip them out of folders, so it's cheaper, why not? So you can use these as well if you like. It's like individual choice. And if you're gonna use this, I usually put, if you've seen in my albums and when I've used these, I use these tabs on the outside of it, so that it gives me a full page and I'm not cutting into the page with my holes or anything. Alright, so you will 2 of these, 5 1/4 by 6 1/4 again, and 2 by 6 1/4 for the spine. Then I've got my A4 sheets of paper here, which I have cut down to 6 1/4, and I've just left the length on them because I will eventually cut it and get it to size. And I'll just, sorry guys about the shadow, I'm just going to zoom out. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see it. Alright, and it's not too wonky for you guys. Alright, now when you cut your pages out, like I said, you can make them any size you like. Just make sure they're the length. Like, if you're going to do like 6 by 12, you're going to have more of a flap over, so you might need to trim a bit over. You can do it, let me see, you can do it 8 by 12. That would be a nice size. Okay, now keep these bits that you cut off because they are going to be your back parts here, or you can use them as little tags or as pockets as well. Okay, so you'll need those. So I cut mine down, I'm using A4 on this, so I'm cut mine down to 6, and that's on the long side. So your A4 paper will be like this, and I will show you how I do that. Alright, so I'll just move these aside and I'll show you how I've done it. So what I've done it is turned it up this way, and then I've just cut it down to 6. Okay, and then you've got this bit left over. Alright, so I'll pop that to one side. So what you're going to do is you will grab your scoreboard and you are going to score at, and I'm hoping this isn't creating, hopefully the light, I'll just move all this stuff out the way. Yeah, I've been working on my desk, so it's kind of messy, so just ignore that side. Okay, so we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Now what I want you to do is after you've scored it, just fold it over, okay, so burnish it. And this is an easier way of doing it rather than giving intricate measures and stuff like that, especially like for beginners. Alright, so what I've done is scored it, folded it in half, and you want to butt it to the edge of your scoreboard. Then you're going to score it at 4 and then 8. Okay, so what you'll do is fold back so that your little score line will create a tab there, and you'll glue that down essentially, and then flip this the opposite way. Okay, so make sure that's nicely scored. Alright, and that's scored on that side as well. So you have now created your flap there, your page, and your pocket is there. Okay, so before you actually glue it down or tape it down, you're going to need to cut it with your envelope punch. Now on the flap side, depending on which way you want to do it, whether you want to have the tab down the bottom or you'd like it up the top. Okay, I've done alternate. You can just have it one way if you like. Okay, and you can probably do a middle tab as well, but you'd need to cut away sides of it. So now what I've done is when I was making this album, you can do it so that you have, if you put it, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, if you line it up right on this edge here, you'll get a clean angle cut like this. Sorry guys, I'm not sure if you can see it. You'll get a clean angle cut. Okay, what I've done with mine is actually moved it over to the next phase on this side here. Okay, so when you do that, you get a flick cut. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, see how it flicks along the side? So you get that. So you've got a choice of that as well. Okay, so on this one, just to make it easy for you guys, I'm going to do an angle cut. Alright, so you'll line it up right on the edge here. Got your angle cut. Then I'm going to move it over about, let me see, up to 3. Okay, on the 3 inch mark there. And voila. Okay, so I've cut that. Then what I'm going to do is I will get my craft knife, which you need for this. Excuse me, I just want to get my glass mat. I find that the glass mat, it's much better to cut on. Alright, so what I've essentially done is put my angle cut down to the bottom, because this will be my bottom part, my bottom tab. So I want to cut off this top section here. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up with that U shape, or you can use your grid to line things up as well. I pretty much eyeball it when I do it. Okay, and you just take your X-Acto knife or whatever knife, or you can mark it with a pencil and cut it with scissors or your paper trimmer. Okay, just take the little nick off. Need a new blade on my knife. There we go. Okay, so you've just created your tab on that side, and I'll just get a piece of paper to put it underneath. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to do that to all your pages. Now I've put about 6 pages in mine. Okay, so now that you've got that cut out, you are going to seal the score bit down. Okay, now whether you use glue or ATG, just make sure it's a really strong one. I know the score tape works really well with this. I've run out, so I'm using my ATG tape. This is very strong tape that I use. Okay, just make sure there's nothing hanging over and nothing hanging on the inside, because you don't want your photo mats to catch on it. Okay, so you'll line it up against the edge, which I've done here, and then just burnish it down with your bone folder. And all done. Now, depending on which side you're going to have your tab, whether it's up at the top or the bottom, just be mindful of where you're going to glue. Mine's on the, my tab's going to be on the bottom, so I want to glue down the bottom bit here. Okay, and I'm using my Scotch quick dry adhesive, and hopefully it's not pinned in there. Okay, that's coming out. And this dries pretty quickly. Alright, I'll just give that a wipe away, burnish it. All my excess comes out. Tissue. Usually have a chucks to wipe that off with. There we go. Okay, so we have created our tab and our pocket. Alright, and what you would do is you would put your back pocket on, and then you'd punch holes through it. Or if you're going to use the tabs, then you can put your what do you call it, your tabs on first, and then your pocket over the top, or what have you, whichever works better for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to cut down my, I'm so unorganised guys, sorry. I'm going to cut down my long strips of paper that I had left. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to make hinges out of these two. Alright, so I'm going to cut it down to 6. Alright, so what we're going to do is grab our envelope buddy, and we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to do angle cut. I'm going to go to 3, and then I'm going to go to the edge here and do another angle cut. Okay, it kind of, you know what this reminds me of, is those glasses, like the 3D glasses, the old ones that you used to get, and they had the little cutouts on there. Look kind of cool. That's what it reminds me of. Alright, once you've done that, what you're going to do is any leftover pieces, you might have little pieces, just make hinges out of it. Okay, really simple. I'm just going to use my my trimmer for this. So I'm going to go in, oh, let me see, 1/2 inch in, score, and then cut at 1 inch. Alright, so I've got my little hinge bit there. Okay, it just makes it easier for your photo mats to slide in and out of. You don't have to do it this way. You can essentially grab this bit and glue it down either side. Okay, I find that if you do that, you do lose space in it. I like to maximize the space. All right, so what I usually do is I kind of eyeball it and mark down just on this edge here. You don't want it hanging right over, so you just want to come up to this little corner bit here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Okay, so I'll cut my hinge away. I'll just mark it. And like I said, just eyeball it. Move that out the way. And do the other side. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm just cutting the hinge. Sorry guys, I'm off camera with that. Alright. So you've got your two little hinges. Alright, and I'm just going to put that on these little Ray-Bans here on either side. Not sure if you can see it. And I just want it to come, what I'll do is like I'll line it up with the bottom edge. Okay. Or you can actually line it up with that corner bit there. Doesn't matter if it's shy of it because it'll still slide down. So what I'm going to do is zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see it there. I know it's hard to probably see because it is black. Alright, so I will just line it up like that to make sure they're straight. You do get it on there. Okay, and like I said, you don't have to do this cut. You can have just a straight pocket, individual choice. I'm just showing you the way that I had made mine. Okay, and these are so cute, and these are great to use mixed leftover papers with too, so you don't need to cut into your stashes and stuff because you can always make it work with leftovers. Okay, so what you're going to do is make sure it's the right way, pocket up the top. I'm going to flip it over, but I'm going to do it on the thinner side. I'm not going to do it on the flat side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just lay it down and it's all taped down. Okay, and the good part about this is you don't need to cover the whole page with designer paper. This is where the good bit comes in. You can use your scraps and just slide it in and measure. Okay, just a little bit. Like I say, I make it and I just eyeball it and I'll mark it along there so it gives me a little bit of an edge. Okay, and what you would do is do the same concept with this, or you can measure it, it's up to you. I tend to eyeball it so I know that I want a little bit of a border, so I'll cut that out there and that needs to be cut down. So once I've got it cut down, I will actually punch it out, so then you will see that there is a bit of a border going around it when you put it down. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can cut it out the same size as this one here. Okay, so that's your page. All right, and my battery is going to be running out. So the next thing I do is with my covers, I generally don't like to, I like to have them, how can I say, flush, I guess. I'll just get my pages. These are the big ones. All right. I don't like to have them folded over down the bottom or up the top. I just like it to be pretty neat this way, and it kind of reduces crapping. Oh my gosh, a blur. Cracking of the cardstock. You know, like sometimes when you fold it over, you get all the bulkiness and stuff like that. I try and avoid it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, you watch, I won't be able to delete it now. So what you can do, if you've got chipboard like this, you can paint it with acrylic paint around the sides and stuff so that it does blend in with your cardstock, your colour cardstock, so you can't, you know, you can't see it. Alright, so all I'm going to do is I will put my adhesive on here. Get it. See, it doesn't always work when you use your ATG on here. Alright. Okie dokie. So I'll just line it up. And what I'll do is just line it up along the edges. Okay. Actually, I might turn it around the other side. And just make sure these are clean cut here as well. Mine aren't too clean because I need a new blade on my trimmer. And oddly enough, I use my Martha Stewart paper trimmer for this, for all my chipboard, which is kind of bizarre because her blades are so sharp. It cuts through the chipboard, so I love it. But don't you guys do it? I mean, I do it because, you know, I'm reckless with my tools sometimes, so I like to see if things are going to work out. Alright, so you've got that bit there. Then if I can find my spine, which is here. Alright. And what I do is I eyeball this bit. You can measure it out by getting another piece of chipboard if you like, so that, you know, or double the size of the chipboard so that you've got a bit of a gap. So what you'll do is hold it flush against there and then, you know, line up your chipboard that way. But I just eyeball it and pray, you know, that it ends up level. They say, hope for the expect the worst and you hope for the best, or the other way around. There we go. Yep, that looks about right. Okay. Kind of wonky. Alright, so we've got that nice and loose there. Alright, then what I'll do, generally I have enough, but it looks like I will need the other piece.